Take the case of Jan Dickerson, a Turkish translator who worked with Sibel Edmonds. The FBI has admitted that when Dickerson was hired, the Bureau didn't know that she had worked for a Turkish organization being investigated by the FBI's own counterintelligence unit. And they didn't know that she'd had a relationship with a Turkish intelligence operative stationed in Washington who was the target of that investigation. According to Sibel Edmonds, Jan Dickerson tried to recruit her into that organization and insisted that Dickerson be the only one to translate the FBI's wiretaps of that Turkish official. What was her reaction when you didn't go along with her plan?
She got very angry, and later she threatened me and my family's life.
Threatened you?
Correct.
Did you take her threats seriously?
Oh, yes. She said, why would you want to place your life and your family's life in danger by translating these tapes?
Edmonds says that when she reviewed Dickerson's translations of those tapes, she found that Dickerson had left out information crucial to the FBI's investigation. Information that Edmonds says would have revealed that the Turkish intelligence officer had spies working for him inside the U.S. State Department and at the Pentagon.
We came across at least 17, 18 translations, communications that were extremely important for the ongoing investigations of these individuals.
And she had not translated this information?
No, she had marked it as not important to be translated.
Specifically, what kind of information did she leave out of her translation?
Activities to obtain the United States military and intelligence secrets.
Edmonds says she complained repeatedly to her bosses about what she'd found on the wiretaps and about Jan Dickerson's conduct, but that nobody at the FBI wanted to hear about it. She says not even the assistant special agent in charge.
He said, do you realize what you're saying here in your allegations? Are you telling me that our security people are not doing their jobs? Is that what you're telling me? If you insist on this investigation, I'll make sure in no time it will turn around and become an investigation about you. These were his exact words.
Sibel Edmonds was fired. The FBI offered no explanation, saying in a letter only that her contract was terminated completely for the government's convenience.
I'm a New Yorker. I'm from Ground Zero. I live and work down there for 10 years. And around 9/11, I was doing work on Wall Street for a large bank and in D.C. for a DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, for a project of theirs. Therefore, I had connections deep within the government and at high levels in the banking community. I call this the FBI and PTEC a case to answer. I believe Mike Rupert has mentioned a couple of things regarding technology capabilities that he believes and has had confirmed were going on during 9/11. I believe if you listen to this presentation carefully, you will begin to connect a lot more dots.
PTEC was with MITRE in the basement of the FAA for 2 years prior to 9/11. Their specific job was to look at interoperability issues the FAA had with NORAD and the Air Force in the case of an emergency. If anyone was in a position to know that the FAA, there was a window of opportunity or to insert software or to change anything, it would have been PTEC along with MITRE. And that ties right back to Michael Rupert's information. Who's really behind PTEC is the question, right. Correct? I asked that of many intelligence people who came to my aid as I was being blacklisted, and I was told, Indira, it is a CIA clandestine op on the level of Iran-Contra. And I have reason to believe this because CARE International, that was mentioned in one of the slides, is a renamed version of Al-Kifa, which was the funding arm for WTC 93. Prior to Al-Kifa, it was called Maktab al-Khidmat, which was the funding arm for the Afghani Mujahideen. It was how the monies got to Osama bin Laden through the Pakistani ISI. I asked the FBI in Boston, how come MAK was being run out of PTEC and 9/11? And that jived with a lot of what Intel was telling me, that it's a CIA front, shut up and go away. At that level, I said, well, why doesn't the FBI take advantage of their celebrated differences with the CIA? And I was told, because at that level, they work together.
They are not. That's exactly right.
And I came to this point that I realized many people out there, either within the Congress or with the Commission, the attitude is they don't want to know the truth. It's like, see no evil, hear no evil. As long as we don't hear it or see it, we're safe. So I wanted to find out who wants to hear the truth. Because we're not talking about issues that have to do with somebody was incompetent and they missed a single call. We are looking at much deeper issues that in certain cases things were prevented from being pursued. For example, I can talk about the parts that I know about, and that is the list of witnesses, special agents, okay, be it with the FBI or ATF, and other translators who have come to us, to me, to family members, and their names and their contact information had been given to 9/11 Commission, and we can establish that these people were never contacted. More people come forward, which we have been having people coming forward, not into public, but to me, and they say, okay, I have information. Where do you take these people? You can't take them to 9/11 Commission. You can't take them to the Congress. They don't do anything. And you can't take them to Inspector General's office. They're not independent. And my report has been blocked for years. Where am I going to take these people? This is an issue that these people are really afraid of. They are being scared. I mean, look, if Ashraf is willing to go publicly, gagging the Congress, publicly, imagine what he's doing that we are not hearing about.
Yeah, that's good.
If publicly he's gagging the Congress, what is he doing behind closed doors to them?
You know, the warning they gave you from Congress, if Sibel keeps bothering us and keeps pressing us like this, we'll regard her as a pest, sort of. You'll lose friends.
This was exactly. Let me tell you something. If she continues pressing us like this and place pressure, she ain't gonna make any friends here. She's not making anything but enemies. We don't like to be pressured. They know that for every piece that they would try to attempt to do with lies and sneering, I will put out one thing in there that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. So have them be my guest.